getting it. We almost have a role reversal, don't we, where it's the kids that know best. No longer your father knows best. No offense. So, as we take a look at what's going on in our culture, I think we've got to take a step back. At this time, the church reminds us of how important family life is. And where does the church get her philosophy, her theology on the family? It comes directly from Christ. Just the experience of Christ. But Christ was born of a woman. That makes motherhood holy. He was born into a family. That makes family life holy. He learned his trade and his faith from his father. That makes fatherhood holy. He gave himself as our food. That makes the Eucharist holy. He endured his passion. That makes suffering holy. He died on the cross, making death holy. And he rose from the dead, making our bodies holy. The entire human experience was sanctified and made holy by Jesus. And we spend our entire lifetimes, don't we, trying to grow in our understanding and our ability to live in that holiness. The purpose of Mass, the whole purpose of Mass, is to help us grow in that holiness. The focus of every sacrament is to help us to grow in that holiness. The plea of every prayer is to help us to grow in that holiness. Today, as we think about the family, I'd like to focus on one specific aspect of family, and that's parenthood. It is so central to who we are as a people because we learn and grow through our parents. And given the perspective that parents have in the world today, once they look at these television programs, it's scary, isn't it? Because not only are our kids thinking that that's the way it's supposed to be, a lot of parents think the same thing, and they change the way they actually parent based on what they see in the movies and on television. That's like using General Hospital as your primary source of medical information. It doesn't make sense. Let's take a look at where the church comes from. She's been nurturing families for 2,000 years. She probably has something valuable to say. In the Catechism of the Catholic Church, it's clear that the parents are the first and the best teachers of the faith. Not Catholic schools, not religious education, not even homilies on Sunday. The parents are the best and first and most important teachers in the faith. I feel like those things are valuable and helpful, but they don't replace the parents living and teaching the faith to their children. And what happens? What does it look like when they're actually teaching it? How do they teach it? They teach it by the way they live their lives, by the way moms and dads treat and love each other, by the way they handle crises and respond to all the different things that challenge and threaten family life, by the way they weave their faith into every aspect of family life. That's what it means to be the first and the best teachers of the faith. The baptism rite is very powerful in this regard. Because right at the very beginning, after the parents say they ask to have their child baptized in the faith, the very next thing it says is you realize that by asking to have your child baptized, that you take responsibility for making sure that they grow in the faith and that they learn to love Christ. Do you accept that responsibility? And then right after that, we look to the godparents and say, your job is to help them do that. Do you understand that? And godparents, I will get to you later. And so, here we are, understanding that the church gets that it is the family, and specifically the parents, who are responsible for helping him renew his church. It is parents that are the prime movers to ensure that the church is healthy, faithful, and vital over the long term. And you might think that that's surprising. You may think it was the clergy and the religious' responsibility. ordination is when we receive the book of the Gospels from the bishop. We kneel in front of him, and he hands us the book of the Gospels, and he says, receive the gospel of Jesus Christ, whose herald you have now become. Believe what you read, teach what you believe, practice what you teach. It's powerful. And I've always believed that that exact prayer should be said over the parents in every baptism. Because the gospel does not get preached any more clearly or any more powerfully than in your home, around your table, doing the things that you do as a family. You, as parents, teach your children how to have respect for each other, how to love each other, how to forgive each other. The core values that make a society work, you're teaching in your homes based on the faith that you've received. What a powerful gift, but what an awesome responsibility. When our culture turned its back on God, we lost the best part of ourselves. And look where that's led us. We have a culture that is now exploding with self-serving violence that has traded things like generosity and replaced it with greed. Selfishness rather than self-sacrifice. Responsibility has fallen by the wayside by things we call my rights. That's where we've been. It's scary. It's scary. But there is hope. Because you know what? Our God is a great and powerful God. And if he can take the murder, betrayal, and execution of his son and turn it into the salvation of the world, seriously, what can't he do? But it requires us to participate. And I will tell you, it means that parents need to live up to their role as parents in the Christian tradition. It means you gotta quit looking at TV and movies for advice about how to be a parent and look to the church. Look to your faith. But it's hard and real work, and you cannot do it alone. I really like what Father talked about on Christmas Eve. He normally thinks I don't listen to his homilies, but I didn't think I surprised him as I was able to quote him. And here's what he said. He said, you know, the whole idea of mom, dad, and children as the nuclear family was not something that has long in culture. It's really an invention of the 1950s America. What really it was an entire family. The whole saying, you know, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, the same is true. Enter godparents and grandparents. Grandparents first. Now look, I'm in my rookie year as a grandparent, okay? So, you know, you gotta work with me here, but I do know, I have learned that the number one rule of grandparenthood is you get to spoil your grandkids, okay? But right behind that rule is you gotta bring the love and the presence of God alive in your families. And oh, by the way, yes, to your grandchildren, but more importantly, to your children. You need to support them as they begin to raise their families. And through all the trials and tribulations and all the noise that's in the culture, you got to help and support them and protect them and nurture them. Your role as parent doesn't end just because they have kids. I think it gets even more important. Godparents, I told you I would get to you. Here's your moment. It is certainly an honor to be asked to be a godparent, no question, but it is not an honorary role. You stand with the parents at the baptism and say, yes, I will support them and help you to bring this child up in the faith. And that means you gotta really focus your own life in being a role model to that child. You need to be present. You need to be prayerful. You need to be a part of that child's life and give them a different perspective, because you don't listen to your parents for so long, right? You got to give them a different perspective and reinforce the values that are part of what it means to be a Catholic Christian family. It's real work. And so this all comes together, doesn't it? And we say, you know what? Parents, here it is. Your role is not a joke. It's not for the stupid or the ironic. It's real serious stuff. Because you are the first image we get of the love and the presence